What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk with yours, Kwame Fisher Jones. As always, I'm him, and I'm talking NFL news, notes, draft, and the upcoming season with my man Chris Franklin of NJ.com. What's good, Chris?
Nothing much, Kwame, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I told you before the thing. I didn't tune into the draft the way I used to. When we jump into the sports world of ours, man, one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is, like I was sharing this with somebody. One of the things, everybody like, I'm gonna go do a podcast. I'm gonna go do a podcast because they can talk about somebody for like 10 minutes, talk about something for 10 minutes. What they don't understand is when you sit in front of this microphone, you got to be able to talk about anything and hold people's attention. I used to watch the NFL draft faithfully. And what I mean faithfully is I woke up Saturday morning, the old school ESPN, half an hour before pick drafts. First round, I watched the whole thing. Then Sunday, I watched the whole thing. So this 5 days a week, prime time for this thing is too much for me, man. And I hate to sound like the old guy, get off my lawn, but this is like way too much. I miss Saturday morning, 8 o'clock. Chris Berman, let's go. Saturday draft, let's go. 45 days between picks. Let's get it. That's what I miss, man. This prime time, everything's through streaming and all, man. Listen. So yeah, I just don't have it, bro. So I got the big picks and everything, but it's too long, man. It's like I don't know. It's like the homeless dude that's got the long war story. It's like, dude, whatever, man. You want a beer or wine? Which one you want, man? Spit it out. It's like, dude, you've been planning this draft for like 6 months. Quarterback or linebacker, make the pick. Let's go. We don't need 5 days for this thing, man. All right, that's it for my
Kidding
rant.
me? You kidding me? No, 5 days is great, man, because it builds
Bro,
the intrigue. You got the stories the backstories of these guys. You're looking at it, like I will say this: the quick turnaround from Friday night at 7 o'clock to okay, you're starting at noon. Yeah, that's a little rough turnaround there. But the trades that happen, it builds the intrigue. The player trades, a pick for the player trades, that builds it to me. So I look at the draft, I'm like, I think that's all right. Now the combine, that's something where
okay.
I wouldn't mind seeing that cut back a little bit because after a while I was like, all right, the shuttle drill again. Here's the vertical jump again. 40 is 40 is just a glorified track thing. That's why I see that. But otherwise, give me 3 days of draft and I'll be
Kevin
especially
Hart
since it's on the road now.
Kevin Hart just got on the phone. I just got to mess with Kevin Hart. One day, one pick, one night. Let's go. That's what I want our draft to be. One man, one pick, one team. Let's go. Everybody gets one shot on Friday night. I mean, on Saturday. And then we come
Oh,
back Sunday and we go all the other rounds, man. One day, bro. One day. Two if you're lucky. But that's too. Life be life in, man. Life be life
you
in.
know,
Ain't nobody got 5 days to watch a bunch of dudes from all over the world in the same party room. Like, and these dudes be getting these elaborate ballrooms. Whatever happened to Sizzler or the party room at IHOP? Like, yo, it's too much. All right, enough. Stanley from Friday. Okay. Get off my. Anyway, all right. Before we get into our team previews, your thoughts on the draft, Chris? What quarterback is in the best position to be successful? Who had a good draft? Who had a bad draft? Even though we've never seen him play, what are your thoughts on the draft?
well, I'll start with the quarterback question first. I thought overall it's a layup to me because this quarterback class was, I don't want to be sound rude, but it was trash compared to other years. And that's, I'm taking it out, I'm being as nice as possible, but I'm just looking at so many things. I think overall it's Fernando Mendoza because you bring him in there, he
Mm,
doesn't have to start right away because you got
mm.
Kirk Cousins. You let him sit in front of it. You sit and let him learn. You don't have to worry about him getting shell shocked by the offensive line. Let Kirk Cousins take that for a little bit. Let Mendoza sit for the side. And you watch that, and I'm like, I like that. Okay, quarterback wise, draft class wise, I
Hold
hate
on,
to
hold on,
say
hold on,
it.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Before we
Oh,
go there, you got to
you're
stop
good.
it there, like, because I didn't
All
know
right.
you were going with Kirk Cousins on. So while you were talking, Robert Griffin III's name just flashed by my head, and then while you
Okay.
were finishing your statement, Michael Penix's name flashed by my head. So if there was a guy that was like the walking mush for quarterbacks, like the guy that, when he walks in the room, your first round pick is going to stink or have problems, it's Kirk Cousins. Yeah, you're shaking your head. All right, okay. Robert Griffin III had one of the most electrifying rookie years ever, right? Who is his backup?
Mhm.
Quickly.
Kirk Cousins. Kirk
Okay,
Cousins.
okay, okay, okay,
Same
okay.
draft.
Okay. Right? Kirk
Uh-huh.
Cousins. But we'll just throw that Robert Griffin out. That was Kyle Shanahan's offense that got. So let's fast forward, Chris, and let's get to wait, Atlanta, right? Kirk Cousins goes to Atlanta, right? And Michael Penix Jr. is the top pick in the draft. And who is Michael Penix Jr.'s backup eventually?
Kirk Cousins.
Okay. And Michael Penix and Robert Griffin III, do they look like they're headed to the Hall? They look like they're headed to Kent. Well, we know Robert Griffin's not. Do we look like that? So if I'm if I'm Mendoza, I'm looking at it like, you know what? I think this is kind of like a bad omen for me. This dude coming in is like a walking mush. Like this dude has been bad luck for every quarterback before me. For the last two quarterbacks before me that were top rated prospects and top rated picks. What makes you think this is going to be different?
Well, I'll explain away the first one when RG3 was in Washington. Mike Shanahan should never have played him the point where his leg looked like the stank. He's doing the stanky leg because it was injured. It's wound up so bad. He was bad, so he should never been that. And the coach and the rumors came out. The coaching staff kind of like Cousins a little bit more than like RG3. So I put that separate. The second one, Cousins should not have been in Atlanta whatsoever. That made no sense to sign him to that big deal and then draft Penix. That was just malpractice, and we see now that the GM is now gone from Atlanta. So I look at this here. You're paying a lot to be another teacher, an on-field teacher, and to take a lot of hits, and I'm okay with that. Raiders aren't going anywhere this year. You're basically setting everything up for the future. You have the ancillary stuff on offense for Mendoza to be good. You got Brock Bowers. You got Ashton Genty, who's probably the happiest of all of them because he's got a competent quarterback now that's not hurt, and he doesn't have to worry about Chip Kelly calling his plays. So you don't have to worry about all that stuff. It's like, keep that away. Like he's happy. He's probably embraced him as soon as he gets to the facility. So you
Charles
see
Kelly.
pieces there. Yeah, he messed it up. The only thing you have to worry about the Raiders now is offensive line, which is why I would start Cousins and say, you know what? We got our prize back here. A rookie, we're gonna learn. Go under center and take one for the team.
But the best
And
way for you to learn is by doing, man. The best teacher is action. So why am I to believe this is going to be any different in this situation? Only because you're looking at it where you want this guy to be your future. You got to play him. You got to play him. And I don't know if Cousins, you're kind of saying he's going to be the teacher. And he should be. All intents and purposes is he should be. But dude, his history suggests that just doesn't work out. Once is an accident, twice is a pattern, three you's a fool. So I mean, like I'm just saying, and the Raiders ain't nobody calling the Raiders bright. So use a fool kind of fits. I mean, didn't they draft a guy, and I don't know his name, and I hope it works out for the brother, but didn't they draft a guy that's got a defective or something in his knee that's been ruled defective and he needs to go get the surgery, but he's just going to play through it, but eventually he's got to get it removed from his knee? Yeah, that was the Raiders that did that. You might want to look into that because that was the Raiders that did that. Use a fool, Las Vegas Raiders. Sounds rolls off the tongue very easily.
No. See,
Yeah.
I don't mind that. If you have nothing to play for right now, as a guy, you let him sit back and watch, especially even a guy in injury. You do that, you sit back, relax, and try that. When it comes to and also I'll give you this too. Alex Smith, fortunately Carson Wentz,
mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to think of who else. There's a couple of them. I'm just blanking on. I'm doing this right on off the cuff. What do you see with Patrick? And here we go. And Aaron Rodgers. What do they all have in common? There are guys that were in place while the other people sat on the bench and learned.
Who's
And then
Carson
they came
Wentz?
out.
Who did Carson Wentz sit behind?
Oh no, Carson Wentz. He was playing. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, the guys that were playing that came in to replace him because they sat down, they watched, they learned, did a better job. Wentz was the quarterback. We know in 2020 they stunk it up the joint. Jalen Hurts comes in and they give him a spark. Alex Smith, Kansas City Chiefs. He started out, then all of a sudden Patrick Mahomes comes in. Look what happened there. There are so many, and I think, and I see what you're saying with you want to know what you have right now, but that's where I think the benefit of having that fifth year option with these guys picking in the first round, that comes into play. If they do well, you have another year controlled cheap. You can work the extensions, you go from there. If not, you only deal with them for 4 years. You look for another quarterback probably in year 3, you go from there. So I have no problem at all with these guys sitting,
No, I don't have a
learning.
problem with him sitting. I'm sorry, go ahead. I interrupt you. Go ahead.
No. I was done.
No, I don't have a problem with him sitting or playing. That's not my issue. Is just I feel like it's corny to say, but I just feel like it's bad mojo, man. You're trying to change the culture of your organization. You're trying to do something, and then you bring in a guy who every place he goes, it just doesn't work out with the quarterback. I mean, we could even go and I don't. I my timeline could be a little messed up here, but you know, even in Minnesota, when he was rolling in Minnesota, it just always ends bad for him. And if I'm trying to be good, I don't want a dude that's always bad. Like if I'm trying to build a relationship, I don't want a habitual cheater to be my, to be the spouse. Because it's like this time, Jan, I'm a changed man. Like you're not, dude. You are what you are in life. Like we are what we are in this. I don't know, man. It's. I get what you're saying, and I wanted to work out for the Raiders, but it's this is a bad analogy. So I won't say that. I'll do it like this. Bad is what bad does. You know what it really said, the real phrase is. But I won't say that because I'm not going to call a grown man stupid. So I'm just going to say bad is what bad does. And it just feels like the Raiders always make these bad moves. Give me another move that you thought was a good move.
Just the Jets overall. I mean, especially the Kenyon Sadiq.
What's with you today?
Their draft, their draft. I'm looking at their draft and what they could be.
With the lovable
And
losers.
well, I'm talking about their first. Let's just look at their first round. They actually made smart picks when it came. David Bailey. I know the whole thing was David Bailey or Arvell Reese. Bailey's going to be better in the long. Reese is the better right now. Bailey's going to be the better long-term prospect. I like that. Kenyon Sadiq and Mason Taylor together. Now all of a sudden you have you trade back up to get Omar Cooper along with Garrett Wilson on the outside. You actually have legitimate wide receivers. Are they going to? And I'm saying, I say this again. Are they, like I say with the previous conversation? They're not like the Raiders. They're not contending this year, but they have everything set up perfectly so that either if they want to use those picks next year, the first round picks next year to trade for a bona fide quarterback, or if they get high enough or want to trade up to get one of the three guys like Arch Manning or the Oregon quarterback, what have you, they're in position to do that. And they have the offensive horses to do well with that. I didn't say anything about defense because I still think overall the defense is going to win. No. But I think
My
they have
guy
enough
Gino's in New York, right? New York, New York.
Yeah,
My guy Gino's
they may
out there.
play. Yep, Gino's going to do. I think Gino's going to do well enough to play themselves out of getting one of those top three quarterbacks. So you're just sitting there like, well, got to trade up, or you got to trade for another quarterback from another team. I think
So
it's
now,
one. I think they trade for another team.
so the question, I got a question. So is the goal to get a quarterback or is the goal to compete this year?
For them is to go for them is to compete well enough, is to improve well enough so Aaron Glenn doesn't get fired into the position where they can go get a quarterback for next season, and then I think that's where they compete. They're though if you look at the East right now, are they going to beat the Patriots? Are they going to beat the Bills? No. Miami? Maybe.
Yeah.
They got a new coach. Maybe. Okay, cool. Then you start looking at, can they get a wild card? Heck no, they're not getting a wild card spot. So now it's about just improving these players, developing these players, getting them in place, learn the system, and you can see what you have. I'm actually excited to see what this offense can do for a little bit. I don't think Garrett Wilson's going to quit on his team this year. I don't think that at all. When you look at what they have now, is they have enough pieces. Oh yeah, you got Brees Hall coming back, the running back. So you have horses on that offense. The quarterback is going to come down quarterback. I just want to see how what they do with an okay quarterback, and if they can get that guy, like I said, they trade for that guy or they draft that guy next year in the top 3, top 5 pick. I think there's actually hope, some hope, not a lot, but there's enough hope on the offensive line when it comes to this team.
Hope and potential get you fired. Hope and potential ruin your credit, get you fired, leave you homeless. All right. I love you to life, Chris, but all I hear is blah, 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 Jets. Like, I love you to life, but blah, 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 Jets. And it's like, I'm out, man. I'm just out. I'm out on the Jets. I want to ask you about two teams whose draft I'm because they're Super Bowl contenders and they had rough seasons last year. First, the Eagles draft, and second, the Kansas City Chiefs draft. What did you think of the Eagles draft? Would you not so much grade wise? Because again, I said it in jest, but I mean it in all sincerity. We haven't seen these young men play, and we hope that they are like I want to see them all be successful, all be Hall of Famers, all provide for their families. So I put that positive energy out there. But I am curious what you thought about the team going after and fulfilling its needs. First, we'll start with the Eagles, then we'll go to Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, first off, the Makai Lemon one, I'm shocked still a little bit because
Really?
the fact you moved up again with the Cowboys in trade. So if you want to use history and you got Devontae Smith the last time you traded with him, the fact you got that one, I
And
felt
they
all
got
right with it.
Goddard. And they got Goddard
Yep,
last time we traded with the
yep,
Cowboys. So they
yep.
it works out. You talk about bad is what bad does. You would think the Cowgirls would stop picking up the phone, but I digress. What is yours?
Yeah, I see. I like what they did. I like the fact they got Lemon. So now it's the team. You can start to see what it's shaping it to be, and it's starting to look a lot like, no surprise, it's starting to look like the Green Bay Packers because your offensive coordinator Charmanian came from there. The Packers, when you look at it, they had a lot of wide receivers. Each one did a lot of different little things, and then they started. You saw in the second round, Eli Sowers, the tight end out of Vanderbilt. They have another tight end now to play with Dallas Goddard. The one thing that you look at when it comes to the Packers, they have a lot of wide receivers, but they also play a lot of 12 personnel, which is one running back, two tight ends, a staple of the Shanahan offense. Now all of a sudden you got Goddard and Sowers. Both aren't known for their blocking per se, but at least with Sowers, he can still learn to be that, but you can still get a lot of receiving when it comes to receptions. You can get out of that. It makes it very intriguing. And also the fact that the AJ Brown trade, yeah, it's to me, I was at 55. Although the report I heard today that came out, I think it's at 45, but I'm down to 45%. The report that came out today, I think it was Adam Schefter of ESPN, saying that one of the picks that the Patriots are floating out there, and I think it's floating out there, is a 2028 first round pick, which means if that's the case, if that's the first rounder, they better have a high second or 2 seconds or what have you, because that's all you come away with. You might as well keep them. Honestly, you might as well keep them and then play the whole waiting game and let them come to camp and see how that goes. I know it's a distraction. I don't like distractions around training camp, but I'd rather hold on to him than have him just go, we got 2028.
I
Who knows what
would
the Patriots will be then?
I would agree with you before we get to the Chiefs to the Eagles. I would agree with you on keeping AJ Brown if they didn't draft Lemon, if they didn't draft a wide receiver in the first round, if the wide receiver didn't fit the mold of the new offense that they're going to run. And enough's enough, cuz enough's enough, man. No, I'm serious. Like you got to be loyal, and this is a jewel that I'm gonna give people. You got to be loyal to a point, not loyal to a fault. And if you're Jalen Hurts, you're loyal to a point. You've done everything you can. It's not like Jalen is going out there and purposely making mistakes, and it's not like AJ's going out there and stinking up the joint. But you don't have, we don't have all day to see if what we saw in the playoff game was an aberration or going to be the the norm for him. And I don't want to find out. I am one of AJ Brown's biggest fans, and I'm going to root like crazy for him wherever he goes. But he has to go. And just because at this point, dog, I need to move on. I need to see what I can do. I need to see what's best for me. No, I'm saying it from a Philadelphia Eagles organization. I need to see where we can go. You don't want to be here. I don't believe in hostages. Let's get it moving. You know what I mean? And I truly want people to understand this. I am an AJ Brown fan. I am going to root like crazy for him wherever he goes. And when he plays the Eagles, I'm going to hope they take his head off. But for those 16 other games, I'm rooting for him. As an Eagles fan, I'm good, dog. I'm ready to just move on, man. Um, so I take you get what you get, you don't get upset. Take what you can get and let's move on. Let's just cut it. Because you're gonna lose bringing him back in the camp. You're gonna lose because at this point the isn't gonna happen. It's just gonna be a bunch of throughout camp. Well, is AJ gonna be well what about it? Well, we're gonna that's what it's gonna be in camp. And you just don't want to go through that, man. So I'm ready to move on. Now speaking of moving on, hit me with the Chiefs. What you got?
Defensive heavy draft, very very defensive heavy draft. The Mansour Delaney pick I like a lot. The fact that they traded up to get him, they need a shutdown corner. They need to fill that role after they made the trade with the Rams. I look at this and I'm at Rams. I look at this as now I'm like, you know what? It's a young piece. It gives Steve Spagnuolo a lot of young pieces to fix that because their defense was atrocious last year. I'm sorry. And I think I look at them and the way they were playing. It just didn't look like a Chiefs defense when they were rolling and had their success. You got to, and the one thing I will say, and I know it's not the draft, but they got a couple interesting guys that I liked in the undrafted part. Jeff Caldwell from Cincinnati. You know how Andy Reid likes to develop these wide receivers out of nowhere and
Is that Jim
starts to do all
Caldwell's
this
boy?
stuff for them. I don't know. I didn't look. I didn't look into it.
Go
but
ahead, I'm
he's
listening. I'm
the
gonna look
wide
into it real
receiver.
fast.
The wide receiver, 6'5", can run a 4.3 40, and he got 470 yards. And that was just in one. That was just 1 year at FBS because he was playing at FCS beforehand. And Jaden out of Oklahoma. I mean, I look at the speed that he makes. I look at the decision making he makes in that a running back. You get him with Eric Bieniemy, and you can develop him a little bit. I like what they did there. So overall, I like what the defense. It was the right mindset that the Chiefs had going in there. I like their undrafted. The Chiefs had to me had a top 5 weekend when it came to overall. When you look at the draft picks and you look at what they came away with undrafted free agency, I like what they did personally, and I think they is really strong, and it's a good start to retool. For them, it's not a rebuild. They're viewing it as a retool. They need to do it, and they need to retool quick while they still have Pat in his second, while he's still have his prime and then creating a second window for his team.
I said Jim Caldwell. I should have said Jim Caldwell's grandson because Jim Caldwell is old, like really old. Old,
He's OG.
old on that.
He's
So,
OG.
pardon self. He's OG, like OG. Like he's that guy. Like, oh, I gotta take my pills. I gotta take my pills.
Oh man,
So
nah.
Andy has a penchant for developing people. Bringing Eric Bieniemy back into the fold helps. I really like when teams draft their needs and they don't try to be cute and go out of the box. The last time Andy that I can remember. Well, actually, I'll stay with the Chiefs. Another thing they've done when they drafted the defensive backs, they developed them. They've developed all of them. They don't miss a lot with the defensive backs. So the defensive back is in a great position to be successful. I do wonder what they're going to look like this season offensively, just because I don't know what Patrick Mahomes is going to look like offensively, but Patrick Mahomes is going to look like. So I'm excited about that. Now we're going to stay in the AFC West. This is our version of versus. We decide we pick 2 teams from the competing divisions, NFC West, AFC West. We're going to finish it up. And the questions are simple. Which team will have the better regular season record and which team will go further in the playoffs? Because sometimes the two worlds do not collide. So this week we are finishing with the Denver Broncos, who finished 14-3 last year, and the world champion Seattle Seahawks that finished 14-3 also. Let's start with the Broncos. Right now I got the Broncos going 13-4 next year. I don't see much of a major drop off. The one thing that was impressive about the Broncos last year was the fact that they went 6-2 on the road and it was third in points allowed. I don't see a significant fall off from that road record. 2 losses, while that's like it's tough. They only had 3 altogether, so that means they lost 1 at home and they also had 2 road. I don't see them losing much more on the road. I actually have them going 13-4. Your standard divisional losses to the Chiefs and the Chargers, but I also think that they're going to lose to someone in the NFC West, just based on the fact that one of those games will be a cross-country trip, and it'll be probably a different climate, whether it's in Los Angeles or, I'm drawing a blank here. If it's Las Vegas, it'll be a different climate thing for them. So you'll be going against climate, playing in warm weather. So that, I think, is going to play a role. So I definitely feel like they're going to lose their divisional game, 1 to the Chargers, 1 to the Chiefs. And then I got them losing to the Jags. They lost to the Jags last year. I don't know, something about the Jags in Denver, Jacksonville and Duval County in Denver. And last year the game was in Denver. This year it'll be in Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville to pull away. It doesn't matter what time of year. Like I said, I'm losing them once in the NFC East. The Chiefs' struggles last year helped Denver get to that 14-3 record. They definitely helped them. But to that, I would say the Chargers' success kind of hampered them because the Chargers were 11-6 last year. So with that said, I'm standing with 13-4. Also got to give Sean Payton credit, even though I loathe the man and do not like him as a coach at all. He had 3 straight losings, or 3 straight 7-9 seasons in New Orleans, but then he banged out 4 straight double win seasons in New Orleans. I think this is the beginning of a run in Denver. Even if Bo Nix isn't 100% when the season starts, I still like Denver to finish up around 13-4, maybe 12-5. So I believe Denver will probably have the better regular season record. What are your opinions on that?
I think Denver will finish with it because I look at Seattle and I see they don't have Kenneth Walker anymore. Zach, they used to have 2-headed monsters. I know they got Jadarian Pierce in the first round, the backup. Basically, in Notre Dame, basically reminds me of the time when they had Saquon Barkley and Miles Sanders, where Giants took Saquon, and then obviously the Eagles took Miles Sanders, and we saw that there. I think it's the same type of situation there. Charbonnet still coming back from the ACL injury, and that takes a while for there. And he was the main part, and the run game was a great way to let off some of that pressure that put on Sam Darnold because he needs a good. It's a good balancing. Also, you got a new offensive coordinator because Clint Kubiak
Yeah.
is left, so you have to take some time in doing that. I look at when it comes to the Denver Broncos, that Jalen Waddle trade is huge, and
Mm.
you don't need him to step in to be the number one. I think Cortland Sutton to me is still that guy that's number one. You needed him to be what you need to be that second offset. Like, okay, you're going to shift. You're going to put all these guys in the box start run game, or you're going to put all these guys over stop Sutton. Now you got to worry about the threat with Waddle and vice versa now. So you can't. You got to play more cover two, cover three shell, and that opens up so much stuff. And Sean Payton was looking for that one guy because after he mentioned about the drops and how he started complaining about his wide receivers at the end of last year, that's the
Mm.
case. Now, I will put this caveat here. I think Denver could be the one seed in the AFC. But the
Really?
caveat I put, yeah, I really do. I think they're that good. I think the home field advantage plays a big part. The thing I want to see is this. There's two games I'm looking at. And one is a stupid reason, one is a legit reason. When this schedule comes out, you mentioned about travel. If that Carolina Panthers game's at 1 o'clock,
Mm. Yeah, I like
if it's
that.
a
I
one
like that.
o'clock game, I
Yeah, I
see
like that.
Carolina because Carolina's gotten a lot better too.
Yeah.
That could be an issue for them.
Yeah.
So I look at that. The other one, and this is where the schedule breakers come things. It's one of the premier matchups, so they may try to put it in the early season before it loses its luster. That rematch against the Patriots
Mm.
it's in New England. I look at that and I'm like, you know what? You know they're going to want they just say, well, you didn't have Bo Nix. We're going to try to get back on him. We have a chip on our shoulder, and the fact that the Patriots won't be, I think, as good, and they'll be limping a
Yeah,
little
I
bit
agree.
depending on what it is with a tougher schedule. All of a sudden now, that's why I put St. Denver's got some, and they can win the tiebreakers there. And I know the Ravens are the only team I think that can threaten them, but we know the Ravens in the playoffs. Yeah, so
So you find
that's
a way
where
to take that one shot at the Ravens every show, yo. You find a way to think
because they
that Ravens
anger
every
me
time.
so much.
Yeah, so so
They're
you
not
agree with me then
kids.
that we both have the Broncos going for having a better regular season record. The crazy part
Yeah,
about that is the Seahawks they play 7 games technically against losing teams with losing records. I'm not counting the Chiefs because I believe the Chiefs will be better than 6-11, but they technically play 6 teams with losing records next year. So that means they have 11 games, including their division that was a monster against teams with not just winning records, with double-digit wins. I mean, their record is going to include the New England Patriots, who we both agree aren't going to be a 14-win team, but they'll be solid. Then you got the Bears, 11-win team. They'll be around that this year. You got the Chargers, 11-win team. It'll be right there. Denver, 14. Then you got the Eagles. You got the 49ers, and you got the Rams. So those games are going to be tough for the Seahawks. I just don't believe that the man's got a Super Bowl. So it's tough to say what I'm about to say. But I don't believe Sam Darnold isn't Sam Darnold. And what I mean by that is he's the same Big Mac that's been around for the last 50 years. The bun is a little hotter, but he's still the same Big Mac. And I don't think that's going to change. I think teams will figure out a way. I think teams will just go back to the what was when we used to have when they would reel it in the room and you would not when they had to, when we were in high school and they would reel it. I don't want to say projector, but they had to slide on the back and they would display on the screen. And you remember it was the thing that was hot and it looked like a dinosaur. It had the camera that came
I
down.
think yeah, I remember the overhead projection. There's like glass
Yeah,
on there. You put the teacher put the clear
yeah,
thing on top and right. Yeah,
yeah, I forget what that was, but they're going to bring that out for Sam Darnold. Was the point I'm trying to make. They're going to go back to that. They're not going to go to the iPad. They're going to go back there and say, this is the same dude, man, same sandwich. And I don't believe in it. I honestly don't. And I don't believe in the Seahawks. They had a monster season last year. Kudos to them. They wound up being Super Bowl champions. But I just don't believe in I don't believe in what they're cooking right now. I really don't. And I don't want to say they're the Milli Vanilli, but I definitely feel like one hit wonder. I definitely feel like one hit wonder with the Seahawks. So I got the Broncos not only go, and I don't know. I don't feel like Denver's going to be the number one seed, but damn it, that altitude matters, bro. It matters. And if they can get the second seed, if they can get two, then they've got at least 2 home games. That matters. Because if you're playing, and just using this as an example, and I'm not saying this team is going to go there, but let's just use this example. Let's say you're playing, the Houston Texans. Houston's
Not
coming
good.
from. You see what I'm saying with this? You see where I'm going with
Mm-hmm.
this? They've got
Mm-hmm.
to go to Denver in January, coming from Houston. Come on, man. Like that ain't
Mm-hmm.
it don't work that way. And you think about other teams, the Chargers, it's the same thing. Excuse me. Baltimore, aside from what they've done in the playoffs, you could look at it and say they would be able to make that cross country trip, but then you have the altitude. So if you're a running team and you're going into Denver, it's already cold. It's already areola type cold. And not only that, you're going to try to run the ball. You're trying to catch your breath. You're freezing, and Denver just skipping around like what's Shorty from Frozen's name? Like little chick
Also,
from Frozen. Yeah, they just flip skating around like you know having a ball. So yeah, it's too much, man. It's just too much. I don't like them to come out of the NFC or excuse me, the AFC. If you remember last year when we did this, I said I didn't know who it was going to be, but I didn't think it would be the Ravens. I said it won't be the Ravens and it won't be the Chiefs. It won't be the Broncos, but the Broncos are going to have another good season. 12-5, 13-4. I won't say AFC title game, but wild card win second round. Definitely, definitely. As far as the Seahawks, it's midnight. I'm going to just leave it at that. It's midnight. So bye-bye, Seahawk fans. It's midnight. We'll see you next season. Because Sam, floor is yours. Go ahead, floor is yours.
no, I was going to say the main thing when you look at that, especially, is even if with those teams that are losing records, there's one problem that the Seahawks are going to face week in and week out: defending Super Bowl champions.
Yes.
That just gets
Yes.
everybody coming in, and it's like, oh, we got to play. They can be a team could be one. It could be have one or two wins when you face them. Defending Super Bowl chip, or we can knock them off, and that's a good litmus test. And the other thing is,
It's a great point.
I look at Denver. Another reason why I think this too. Houston, I I think there's going to be so much pressure on D'Amico Ryans because his teams have not reached past the second round. So there's going to be so much pressure on them. That defense travels. That defense is great, but we've seen C.J. Stroud in these pressure situations, and look what happens. Unfortunately, bam. Lamar Jackson, good guy in terms of talent in regular season. We know what happens.
Great
Look at
personality.
the Patriots. It's going to be a rude awakening for Drake May. A rude awakening when you say
They
that.
coming
So I
for you,
take them
homie.
out.
They coming for you, homie. Yeah.
The Jaguars, no, I think they're good. They're a divisional round team. I see that can be a threat. Beyond that, I don't fear them. So you look all around. Their biggest threat for me is going to be from within that division. If the Chiefs somehow find a way to find their magic and they play way above their level.
Magic. Did you
Chargers,
say Chiefs find their magic?
yeah, because last year they didn't have it. They ain't have it.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
My name is
Mahomes.
Pat.
Yeah, exactly. Like we can solve everything, and we can save our Super Bowl predictions. And I forget what I said before, but I am gearing up in the football season, even though we're like 3 months away. That dude Mahomes is sitting in the lab like, "Word, I got you. Bet. All right, I got you. Where I don't even think I've seen a new State Farm commercial from him. Like, and I'm gonna say it again, and I'm gonna say it all season long, and I should put it on a T-shirt and get it trademarked. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name's Mahomes, and he is going to light everybody up on one good leg. That's the theme of today's show. One leg, one arm, one game. Mahomes, let's go. Nah, so yeah, you can say forget what you heard. Forget what you heard. Mahomes is that dude, and he will be back. But no, going back to Denver, man, I really think Denver had a good. I don't like Sean Payton, but I'm gonna give him my propers. So I'm giving his propers. He definitely can coach his butt off, especially when he gets on the road for those winning seasons. And this will be another one, and the AFC West is one of those divisions where it's top heavy. It's very top heavy. The Raiders will be the Raiders. They're going to continue to be the Raiders. Always. Until the end of time, they're going to be the Raiders. The Chargers will be a 10 to 12 win team. They're going to be a sound football team with a mediocre to solid quarterback. The Broncos and the Chiefs are going to bang it out. It's going to be fists. They're going to do what they're going to do. But as long as they got that that mofo mullet Mahomes, I'm always going to go with him if he's healthy. That's it. It's just that simple. So I get a final word to you.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a little. You're right. In fact, it's a little top heavy too. When it comes to the Chiefs, though, too. I think I think they have two things going for them they can use as motivation. That's Travis Kelce's last year. Now he's plodding along. He's not the main guy that one
That's a
too.
great adjective. I love that adjective. Plotting. Go ahead.
He got that. And
Go
then
ahead.
also, Andy, you don't know how much longer he's going to do this. I know he keeps saying he wants to do that, but you really don't know when the end's going to come. And we're one of the things like say maybe they're going to run. He announces, you know what, I'm good after this year. If they're set up for a Super Bowl run, like AFC, you know what, no matter what, it's my last year. You never know that. Win one for Andy, win this for that. So you
Yeah.
never know. So they're in a good position.
And I'm gonna leave on this note. I wouldn't be surprised knowing Andy the way we know Andy, close to being Philadelphia Eagle fans, and knowing how much Andy means to us, and he means the world to us because he gave our organization the blueprint and the foundation to be a winning organization. I wouldn't be surprised if he said, "Hey, listen, I got 2 more seasons left. Let's see if we can get this guy behind me ready to take the reins when I walk out." Because he would walk into the perfect situation with the greatest quarterback that I've seen since Elway, and I have no problem with saying that. That's it for this episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk. If you like the podcast, make sure you share, comment, subscribe, whatever your podcast platform allows you to. He is a great Chris Franklin of NJ.com. I'm Kwame Fisher Jones. Until next week, we appreciate your time here. You be easy.